Imagine a prison so remote, so notorious, that it was nicknamed Kala Pani, the Blackwaters, a place where the British exiled India's most determined freedom fighters, hoping the isolation would crush their spirits. Welcome to the Cellular Jail, one of the darkest symbols of colonial rule, hidden on the Andaman Islands. But what really happened within its walls? Who were the prisoners who defied death and despair? And why does this eerie structure still haunt India's history today? Before we dive into the secrets of Kala Pani, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join Mystery Junky, where we uncover the most chilling tales from history and beyond. Now, let's unravel the story of this haunted fortress. The Cellular Jail, known as Kala Pani, was constructed by the British between 1896 and 1906 on South Andaman Island. Its purpose was sinister yet straightforward: to isolate and break the will of India's freedom fighters. The location itself was chosen with precision, far from the mainland, surrounded by the vast Bay of Bengal. Escape was almost impossible, and the psychological toll of isolation made the punishment even harsher. The name Kala Pani translates to Black Waters, symbolizing the dread associated with crossing the ocean, which was considered taboo for many Indians at the time. For political prisoners, Kala Pani was not just a sentence of incarceration, but a form of exile and social death. The design of the Cellular Jail was inspired by Jeremy Bentham's Panopticon model, a structure that allowed one central guard to observe every prisoner without being seen. The prison had 7 wings radiating out like the spokes of a wheel from a central tower. This central tower served as the watch point, from which guards could oversee all 696 solitary cells. Each cell was deliberately designed to enforce isolation. Measuring just 4.5 by 2.7 meters, the cells had a single ventilator high up on the wall, ensuring minimal interaction with the outside world. There were no windows to glimpse freedom, only suffocating confinement. Prisoners couldn't communicate with one another, ensuring they felt entirely alone. The architectural design was more than functional. It was psychological warfare. It broke the prisoners mentally, leaving them to wrestle with despair. The conditions in Kala Pani were brutal. Prisoners were subjected to forced labor that bordered on inhuman. Tasks ranged from crushing oil seeds by hand to felling trees in the dense jungle. Food was sparse and nutrition was almost non-existent, often leading to severe malnutrition and illness. Many prisoners succumbed to diseases like dysentery, malaria, and tuberculosis, as medical care was rudimentary at best. Disobedience was met with merciless punishment. Prisoners were flogged, tied to poles for hours under the scorching sun, or thrown into dark, suffocating cells as solitary confinement. Stories of torture inside Kala Pani are endless, each one more horrific than the last. Among the thousands imprisoned, several iconic figures stand out. These brave individuals endured unimaginable suffering, yet they refused to abandon their fight for India's freedom. Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, a prominent leader of the Indian independence movement, is perhaps the most famous prisoner of Kala Pani. Arrested in 1910 for his revolutionary activities, Savarkar spent over a decade in the jail. Despite the isolation, he continued to inspire freedom fighters by writing poems on the prison walls with jaggery and coal. His resilience made him a symbol of defiance. Batushwar Dutt, a revolutionary known for throwing bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly alongside Bhagat Singh, was sentenced to Kala Pani in 1927. Despite the inhumane conditions, Dutt remained committed to the cause, using his time to plan and strategize for India's freedom. Another key figure, Sachindranath Sanyal, was one of the founders of the Hindustan Republican Association. He played a critical role in shaping the revolutionary movement and continued to influence the freedom struggle even from within the prison. Fazl-e-Haq Karabati, a scholar and poet, was exiled to Kala Pani for his role in the Indian Rebellion of 1857. As an Islamic theologian and intellectual, Karabati inspired many to rise against British rule. While at the Cellular Jail, he continued to write and educate, leaving behind a legacy of resilience. His contributions extended beyond politics, enriching India's cultural and literary heritage. Maulana Ahmadullah, another significant figure in the 1857 rebellion, was known for his fiery speeches and leadership during the uprising. His capture and subsequent imprisonment at Kala Pani were seen as a major loss to the freedom movement. Even in captivity, Ahmadullah's unwavering spirit served as an inspiration to fellow prisoners, reminding them that the fight for freedom could not be extinguished by isolation or punishment. Indu Bhushan Roy was a member of the Anushalan Samiti, a revolutionary group committed to overthrowing British rule. Arrested for his involvement in bomb-making and armed resistance, Roy was subjected to brutal torture during his time at Kala Pani. Tragically, he succumbed to his injuries in the prison, becoming a martyr for the independence movement. His sacrifice highlighted the inhuman conditions endured by freedom fighters and fueled the growing dissent against British oppression. These individuals, along with countless others, endured immense suffering for the sake of India's freedom. Their stories are a testament to the courage and determination that defined the independence movement. Each name etched in the annals of Kala Pani's history serves as a reminder of the price paid for liberty. Amid the despair, Kala Pani witnessed moments of resistance and hope. Prisoners found ingenious ways to communicate despite strict isolation. They tapped messages on the walls, used sign language, and even smuggled letters out through sympathetic guards. One remarkable story is that of the hunger strikes. Prisoners protested the inhumane conditions by refusing food, forcing the authorities to improve their treatment. These strikes, though painful, highlighted the unyielding spirit of the inmates and brought international attention to the atrocities inside Kala Pani. After India gained independence in 1947, the Cellular Jail was abandoned as a prison. But its history was too significant to be forgotten. In 1969, the government declared it a national memorial to honor the sacrifices of the freedom fighters who endured its horrors. Today, visitors can walk through the preserved wings of the jail, view the solitary cells, and feel the haunting presence of those who once lived there. The jail's walls are adorned with plaques and exhibits that recount its grim history. It stands as a reminder of the price of freedom. One of the most popular attractions at the Cellular Jail today is the Sound and Light Show, held in the evenings. Through dramatic narration and visuals, the show brings the stories of the prisoners to life, recounting their sacrifices and struggles. The chilling atmosphere of the jail at night amplifies the impact of these tales, leaving visitors deeply moved. Execution Room. The jail had a designated execution area where prisoners were hanged. This room still exists and serves as a grim reminder of the extreme punishments meted out by the British. Freedom Fighters Memorial. The central tower of the jail now houses a museum dedicated to the freedom fighters, showcasing their letters, belongings, and photographs. 7 wings, reduced to 3. Originally built with 7 wings, the jail now has only 3 wings intact. The other 4 were demolished after independence to make way for modern development. Historical witness. The jail has witnessed significant events in history, including the Japanese occupation of the Andaman Islands during World War II. Nature's role. Despite its grim history, the Andaman Islands' lush greenery and pristine beaches contrast starkly with the eerie aura of the Cellular Jail, making it a unique travel destination. For modern visitors, the Cellular Jail is both a historical site and a sobering experience. Walking through the dimly lit corridors, one can almost hear the echoes of the past, the cries, the protests, and the silence of broken spirits. It's a place that forces you to confront the harsh realities of colonial oppression. Tourists can explore the galleries, view the preserved cells, and read about the lives of the prisoners. The museum offers an immersive dive into India's fight for freedom, complete with photographs, artifacts, and detailed accounts of the jail's history. Even decades after its closure, Kala Pani continues to evoke a sense of unease. Stories of paranormal activity have emerged over the years. Visitors have reported hearing whispers in the empty cells and feeling an inexplicable heaviness. While these claims remain unverified, they add to the eerie allure of the site. But beyond the supernatural, it's the psychological scars that linger. Kala Pani is a stark reminder of how far colonial powers went to suppress the voices of resistance. It stands as a testament to the resilience and courage of those who fought against tyranny. The Cellular Jail, or Kala Pani, is more than just a historical site. It is a living memory of India's struggle for independence, a place where hope and despair collided, and where ordinary men became heroes. Its dark corridors still echo with the sacrifices of those who refused to bow down. As we remember the stories of Kala Pani, let us never forget the price of freedom. What are your thoughts on this haunting piece of history? Could you have endured the horrors of Kala Pani? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, make sure to subscribe to Mystery Junky for more tales of intrigue, history, and mystery. Until next time, stay curious and stay cautious.